How to make a Mega Knight deck has been a question that has tenderized my interior cortex for quite a while now, and when I saw that trend bar, as you saw from the thumbnail, pop up on the trends page of what people were searching up on YouTube, I couldn't help but notice and take in that feed, and I figured I might as well make a video on it since I am actually using a Mega Knight deck I just made a few days ago. This is the one. You're not going to really find this anywhere. I just made this one. I mean, you'll probably find something similar, but ultimately, right, like, just made a Mega Knight deck, and I saw this, and I was like, absolutely have to make a Mega Knight deck. I'm going to try to make one in this video a little different than this, following kind of the same formula I used, and just what I see from kind of like every Mega Knight deck. So we'll hop into that. But first of all, obviously, you got to start off with your Mega Knight. Now, it's always a serious question on whether you want to use the Evo Mega Knight or not. I would say if you're making a Mega Knight specific deck, kind of like this, I would say Evo Mega Knight's definitely going to be pretty good. It's only pay to lose in the situation of Evo Witch. That's literally the only card you have to watch out for when you play Evo Mega Knight, because he'll punch her back and then she'll heal. He'll punch her back and then she'll heal. And then the guy who's ever you're playing against will just keep putting cards down, and the Evo Witch will still be alive. He'll probably cycle back to like 2 more Witches by the time that Witch dies and get another Evo Witch on the field. So that's the only part where Evo Mega Knight really kind of lacks foundation, but otherwise it's going to be kind of a test beast to have on the field, if you will. Now the next card, you want something else, right? You're going to want a Prince, you're going to want a Boss Bandit, you're going to want a Sparky. You need another meaty card along with it. What's sexy beast, long hair, dude, looks like, right here, Golden Knight. I don't know why I was stumbling over that. Absolutely beautiful specimen right there. Dashes to a lot of targets, but you also, since Mega Knight's a splash unit, you could also just go, again, as I said, something like Boss Bandit or Prince, which is going to be pretty good because it's a single damage unit that does a lot of damage, and Splash and Mega Knight's a splash damage card. So if you pair them together, they work pretty well in that factor. So actually, in this case, well, you can put pretty much anything you really want as the secondary kind of unit tanker card. A lot of people go Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mega Knight, so we're gonna do Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mega Knight just because it's a very classic terms of deck here. Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mega Knight, Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mega Knight, Mega Knight Boss Bandit, Mega Knight Prince. Again, all those secondary cards there. Mini P.E.K.K.A. Mega Knight. Mini P.E.K.K.A, Boss Bandit, Prince, gonna be sharp, 1 damage, but high damage cards, and Mega Knight's gonna be a good splash damage card. Anyway, another card that you're always going to kind of want to have in this deck is going to be Goblin Gang. I don't think I've seen a Mega Knight deck actually without Goblin Gang. It's just such an almost necessary card. You have that little bit of air defense, you have that little bit of ground damage, and then you also have that little bit of swarm, right? You don't have just the skeleton army that just kind of serves one purpose. It can easily get wiped out, but you have a Goblin Gang, for some reason, just an absolute versatile of a card. And then you look back over here and see what else we have, right? So I'm using Electro Wizard in this deck because I'm using Sparky, and Mega Knight, and kind of a lot of tankier units. So if you wanted to put like an Inferno Dragon down or something like that, or an Inferno Tower, the Electro Wizard comes in handy. I would say for a lot of these decks, you're going to want kind of a reset card. And so what I like to do in a lot of Mega Knight decks is put either Zap or something of a reset card. I'm actually going to put Arrows in this kind of version of the deck because I think Arrows would maybe work a little bit here. Or honestly, I actually might just go Zap because I think a lot of people have Zap anyway. And also, it's going to work well with the Mini P.E.K.K.A. because the Mini P.E.K.K.A, obviously, you have that hero ability. If you don't have hero, well, that's kind of unfortunate, but still, let's say you have a Mini P.E.K.K.A. going to the tower, and he plays his skeletons right at the last second, you zap him, he's on the tower now, and they really can't do anything about that unless they want to kind of get an entire another unit, maybe worth 4 elixir, absolutely instantly obliterated by the Mini P.E.K.K.A, which they probably don't. So they're going to put something cheap, which you can zap out of the way, which is going to be pretty nice there. And again, I'm like, this deck's going to look very similar to this deck here. I'm not going to use Sparky in this deck, but I'll show you kind of what else you can use instead. But it's going to look very similar because a lot of Mega Knight decks are going to have, again, Mega Knight and kind of those 2 spells, Zap and Fireball, which are going to be very, very, very good spells to have in a Mega Knight deck. In fact, you don't really see a lot of other spells. You can use Arrows instead of Zap, but that's really the only switch-out spell that you would ever really use because, quite frankly, it's just no other spell's really going to be as good as Zap and Fireball. You could use Log, but then you don't have a reset card. With Mega Knight, you kind of need a reset card. The other thing I like to look for, too, is obviously air defense. Now, you could be using Witch in this deck, and this is kind of going to be your girthier air defense card, something like the Electro Wizard, or even maybe in place of, like, the Sparky, just because, again, have how high elixir this is. So, we'll be using Witch, definitely, I think, in this deck here, now that I just kind of thought about that. But in terms of the air defense card, that can also serve as an air defense purpose, and then I would say you're probably going to want to go for either Bats or Minions. Now, I don't have Minions upgraded to level 15, so in this case, we're going to have to be using Bats. I almost have enough, actually. I do want to get them up there, but I only have 59,000 gold. I actually have a lot of gold. Wait, what the heck? Do you think I can get them up there right now? I don't think so. I think it might be, that's way too much. Yeah, gold costs way too much in this game. It's actually disgusting. But you get it pretty fast. You could also maybe go for something like a Dark Goblin here, which I actually might do, or something like a princess, because again, I'm not using Sparky in this deck over here, so it's going to be a different kind of type of deck here, but you're still kind of going along with the same pattern in terms of the Mega Knight. You have a high DPS card right here. You have those kind of 2 spells, Fireball and Zap, definitely having a reset card in there, and then the Witch is kind of going to be like the Elixir Wizard. It's going to be a, not so much reset card, but just a kind of a high elixir, high damage, and a high versatility card. Like, Elixir Wizard doesn't necessarily do like high damage, but he zaps units, he resets units. Which, she spawns skeletons, she's a swarm card as well as a splash damage card. So again, high versatility within the Mega Knight deck. And then the air units, I'm going to go for, I think, bats here, just because I don't really have the minions upgraded right now. And this is always where things get a little technical here, especially because we only have 2 slots for Evos, and with 3 slots in total. So I could go with maybe my bats in one of these 2 positions. That's why I think minions are going to be so good. In fact, we might just have to rock minions in this deck either way, because honestly, in this deck, you're going to definitely want to be using minions if you have a deck like this, especially when you don't have that 3rd Evo slot, which I don't think was ever really an option anyway. And then for your last spell here, or just kind of last troop, or whatever it is, if you look back to this deck over here, we have Sparky. So we have something a little girthier on the defensive side. That's what you're going to want for this last kind of card here, is a nice, slick, girthy, tender defense. Now, you kind of have to think what's going to be good on defense and also going to be good on offense. And quite frankly, I don't even know the answer to that question. I didn't really think this far, but I think we might actually have to go with something like a Golden Knight, right? You have something, okay, After thorough consideration, I realized I didn't have a win condition in this deck at all. So we're going to be using Hog Rider because he is a thick pounding beast. And quite frankly, I was looking at this deck a lot. I was like, what do I not have? I don't have a win condition. I just had Sparky in here, and for some reason, the synergy of these cards works so extremely well. It basically is a win condition. I'm not sure if Sparky's a win condition or not. It actually might be, but the rarity of it getting to the tower, actually, it's not that rare. Honestly, if you put Sparky in the map, it actually does get to the tower more than you would think. But I'm not even sure if it's a win condition or more of a defensive card. I think it might be a win condition, though. So maybe I do have a win condition. But it is definitely a very interesting win condition because it definitely acts more as just a defensive card. I mean, it just zaps anything that your opponent puts down. But anyway, Hog Rider is going to be a great win condition in Mega Knight decks. Like, it's seen in pretty much almost every Mega Knight deck. It's quite repulsive, too, because it gets to the tower so quickly. You pretty much don't, like, there's no really counter push off like a Hog Rider placement. No one really spends too much elixir on a Hog Rider unless it's like someone puts in like a pack or something. There definitely could be counter pushes off it, but still, it's just a nice, sleek little card. Slips right through the cracks, and we're gonna go for it right now at the bridge here. Hopefully, we can zap his swarm card. Absolutely, I mean, this is just considerate right there. It's like he knew. He said oops, and like he absolutely knew exactly what I was going to put down. I should went for the mini P.E.K.K.A. there, by the way. That was actually not good placement on mine. He doesn't zap fully my minion horde, but is my minion horde doing any damage? I mean, they are level 14, but dang. Definitely should have went for the mini P.E.K.K.A. there, by the way. In fact, if you put it down at the right time, it'll get 0 hits on the tower. His Hog Rider will get 0 hits. Let's go for this here. He's trying to keep the pressure up, but he's failing miserably, and I think we are actually going to, let's go for something. Let's go for this in the back here, because if that Goblin and that Spear Goblin do up getting in the tower, I think we actually might take his tower just because the Spear Goblin might be there. But we'll see. He's going to still spend a little bit of elixir. I'm not sure he knows how much damage it's actually going to do, and that's going to take his entire tower. So we're going to go for this in front, which is actually really tender because we're going to be able to push that Hog Rider back, take out that. Ooh, that's going to actually be a stinky little Goblin there in the background. We're going to be able to punch that, though. He does take like half my tower, or half, yeah, pretty much more. He downs my tower to more than half with just a Goblin, which is kind of repulsive, but it's fine, I guess. Let's actually go for like a play like this because he does a Skeleton Army, which is going to be easily zappable. So if he does go for a Skeleton Army right here, I mean, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Like, I knew he was going to go for the Skeleton Army at some point. He kind of had to on that play, and his zap's going to take his entire tower out. Let's actually wait for this. Oh, I was going to upgrade that at the last second, but I wasn't able to. Let's go for a Goblin King in the middle here. Kind of maybe push those guys over to the side, kite them over a little bit so like both towers can kind of get involved with that. Both Princess Towers, pretty juicy. Take that out all the way. And that makes the deal with 2 towers being lost and take 2 of our towers, which I don't think he's going to be able to do. Even with his juicy little Hog Rider plays right now that he's doing. That's going to be definitely a tender play. I would say that's probably going to be the best one he had, actually. They took like almost half my other tower there and almost killed my other tower. Wow, okay. He goes for a log on a Mega Knight, which is not going to do anything, and fireballs the other lane instead of taking my tower. I'm not sure exactly what that play was, but now he has 0 elixir in total, and then we're going to go for a fireball on this, and if he tries to go with a skeleton army or something sweet, I can just zap it anyway, so I'm really not scared of this guy at all. He's going to go for that, which is kind of going to be interesting, but I think the Mega Knight should be able to hopefully get to the tower there, or get to nowhere. I'm not sure what just happened there. That Evo Skeleton Army ate my entire offense. Okay, let's go for our Mega Knight right on top of this guy. I don't think he's going to be able to take that tower over there. And 7 seconds, that Goblin Barrel is doing pretty much 0 damage. Let's go for a Goblin King up here, just so that doesn't connect to my tower, and we should be good. We do lose our other tower, but that's not the end of the world. We still had one more tower left, and that's why, like, if I've already taken a tower on his side, and my tower's at like 800 health, normally, especially with Mega Knight decks, since they're so girthy, you just don't really want to defend that tower, especially if they're making like a big push. I think I defended it because I had the Evo Mega Knight, like a pretty much perfect defense for it. But if I didn't have the perfect defense, and I saw Hog Rider, Goblin Barrel coming at my tower, and my tower was 800 HP after I just took his, I would just kind of set my plan up that I'm just going to go for the other lane, and I'm just going to try to just max out my offensive side in the other lane so that he just can't do anything about it, and I take both of his towers in the time that he only took one of mine. So that's going to be kind of the gangbanging play on that part, and gangbanging is definitely not the right word there, but that's going to be the plan. Let's go for a Goblin Gang right here, and we can take out that Musketeer pretty well, and still have a little bit of an offensive push with the Spear Goblins, which is not too bad, and he's going to go for a Lumberjack here. He might be playing one of this a Lumberloon deck. It's going to involve, yep, there it is. It's going to be the Lumberloon deck. Wow, was that a good witch? That was a really good witch, actually. Thank you. Does that Snowball take out my minions? No, it doesn't, but it's going to get hit on my tower. He's playing the Lumberloon deck where he replaces Miner for Lumberjack, and he has that kind of balloon. I think it's going to be the Bomb Tower type-esque deck. He might use that on defense, that little ability there, which is going to be fine with me. I'm just going to zap that, and his pretty much only defense from a Hog Rider doesn't even look like he actually has a building, which is unfortunate for him because now I am toppling his entire tower. That's absolutely disgusting. And in this situation, as I said, he might go for like a Lumberloon in this lane right here with the 3000 HP. So if he does that, I might just say, you know what, I'm not going to defend. I don't really have the cycle right now to defend. So I'm just going to kind of build up a sexy push in the other lane, which he's definitely not going to be able to defend. And then, yeah, he takes my tower, but I've taken 2 of his. So it doesn't really matter at all. I think that's exactly what I'm going to do, actually. And if he does go for a Lumberloon, I can actually defend it for 2 elixir cheap here because I have my Mega Knight, or I mean, it's my Mini P.E.K.K.A. and my minions. In fact, I don't even care about his Lumberloon anymore. I think he might have given up anyway because my deck is so powerful. And yes, he did. Beautiful. So he tried and he failed miserably. In fact, I'm not even sure what deck he was using. I don't think he was using the deck that I thought he was using, which is kind of peculiar, but maybe it was a homemade Lumberloon deck. In League 5, that's definitely a little risky, but maybe he buttered his biscuit with a couple of other wins, but not against me, that's for sure. Let's go over to another battle here. We want to definitely enhance the thickness of exactly how many games we can win in a row with this deck. In fact, I might not stop playing until I lose with this deck because I just created it, and the fact that I won 2 games in a row, kind of undisturbingly, is actually pretty sexy. Let's go with this right here, and that bomber, the range on that was just absolutely peculiar. I'm not sure exactly what just happened. We go for a zap on that, it doesn't even matter. Wow. I mean, that blows me away. I thought Bomber was like this little twink chud. I mean, it doesn't even seem like it anymore. Just obliterated my entire defense and took half my tower. I was expecting, I mean, I know Goblin Gang was the best player there, but I was expecting that I put it further, like, far back enough that he wouldn't just, the Bomber wouldn't react to that. Wow. Okay. Yes, sir. Let's go maybe for a Mega Knight on here just because I don't necessarily want to go for the Witch because I feel like the Witch would get destroyed by the Baby Dragon. If I can distract the Baby Dragon with the Mega Knight, let my tower do the work, that's going to be on the tower, which is not too bad, but we still need to do about another 2,000 damage to be equal to him, which is fine. I think we can end up doing that. I just can't make the same dumb mistake that I just made. He did kind of just use it as an Inferno Tower, though, so I might be able to go for a nice little Hog Rider push. Now, I didn't react to his Skeleton Army last time, but I'm gonna try to catch him off guard, react to it this time. We'll see what he does here, though, because my Witch is going to spawn a little more skeletons right there. Let's go for this, yeah, here, actually, and then we'll wait a little bit until he puts the Skeleton Army down. There it is. I didn't react to it last time, so he's not thinking I'm going to react to it this time, I think is what kind of his game plan was, but I did react to it this time, and I absolutely dominated him on all 4s. Or at least not on all 4s, but rather on 2 cheeks sitting in a car. Let's go with this right here. Let's actually go for a Goblin over here just to distract that Boss Bandit. And for some reason, Barry has had the most locked-in session of his entire life and is destroying everything I'm putting down, but that's honestly kind of my bad as well. Let's go for a little upgrade here. Why not? And then maybe not the best idea because now I need enough elixir to defend his Hog Rider. I don't have that anymore. And there goes my entire tower. Oh, wow. And he got that extra hit as well. That's just, it would have been an 82 HP. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go for a minions up here. I think those might be connected to the minions, which is going to be good. The Mega Knight's going to jump on the for a tower, which I actually like. We're going to go for a zap here, take that all out. Then that's going to be taken out completely. He's going to go for that in the middle as a desperate little play. That's going to work for him, but it's not going to work entirely because our Hog Rider is going to running straight at his tower. It's only going to take one hit to take his entire tower out. And that way it's kind of this useless play on the other side of the map there. This mess of like goo with the boss band and everything like that, which we're just going to go Mega Knight on. Let's go for a mini P.E.K.K.A right here, actually. Yeah, it's going to be locked in over there. We're going to go for a Mega Knight on defense over here because that is going to do some damage to our King Tower if we don't do that. And he just uses Skeleton Army, but our Witch is there, and we do actually have a nice little sexy play going with the Hog Rider in front in here. And we can actually go with this, and I know he's going to put the Inferno Tower down in the middle of the map, so we're going to go for a Goblin Gang here just to kind of defend that. Or he's just not going to do that and let my Hog Rider connect to his tower, which is going to be even better for me. And we're doing some little bit of good damage. The Mega Knight, I think, might be connected to... Let's go for Witch here to distract that Boss Bandit, or just not that Boss Bandit, but the Bandit itself. Let's go for a Zap on the Skeleton Army here because I just don't want that doing... I don't want that coming back and biting me later on. This is interesting because he didn't use his Inferno Tower on my Hog Rider, so now I don't have like a good necessary cycle for him. They'll let that berry go, I think, which is going to be nice on my part. And let's actually go for our mini P.E.K.K.A in the middle here. Not going to let the dash to my tower. I don't want to take any unnecessary damage. And we're going to let that just be distracted with the Mega Knight. And I think we should be able to... The problem is here... let's wait till that's... Let's go with this here. Just to take that out. I'm not even concerned about my Mega Knight right now. I just want to take that out. And then hopefully he cycles back to his Skeleton Army. I go with a Hog Rider. He Skeleton Army's on it. He doesn't have enough for defense. Let's go for a nice, sexy, girthy, and juicy fireball right there. Taking out literally everything he just put down. The Rogue is going to be on my tower. It's going to be actually quite a bit of damage, unfortunately. But we do still have a nice, sexy push coming in his way. So let's go with this here. Let's go with, I think, our Goblin King in the middle. Or actually, let's go for a Hog Rider instead. We can actually just zap this and let our Mega Knight take that out completely. And now we don't have enough for zapping a Skeleton Army, which is... Dude, this guy's actually putting up a feisty little fight here. This guy, feistier than normal, in fact. I'm not used to this type of child. Let's go with this. Let's go with this here, and then we're going to be able to take that out pretty well. Let's go with this. Yes, no damage. Okay, pretty sexy on that part. And I think we're going to have to go one business at a time. This business first. Let's go with our Goblin King in the middle to distract all that. Let's go for our zap on that Skeleton. We're going to be able to get one hit on the tower, which is not too bad. Upgrade! No! I should have upgraded that. At least I would have taken out the berry at least. Let's go with this here. And we're actually going for our nice little juicy, sexy upgraded Mega Knight right there. Taking out the entirety of the defense. He misses the Hog Rider. What is he doing? No! Too many hits. Hold up. Let's go for a Goblin King in the middle right here. The berry is taken out, and we have to go for a Hog Rider in the middle. We cannot let this... We cannot rely on this guy. Let's go for a nice little zap right there. Come on! Get a hit! Oh, boy! 10 seconds left. I don't think this is enough. Yeah, we still have to go. We still have to defend this Hog Rider. Let's go for this. Let's go for Psycho. No, that was no. Okay. I thought he was maybe going to take my tower there with the Hog Rider, but he ended up just arrowsing it to victory. That's an unfortunate loss there. I don't even know how exactly I messed up. On the first play of the game, I think I would have messed up somehow. But yeah, I did. I let him take my entire tower basically on the first play of the game. Anyway, pretty good deck, right? It's definitely winning me games, at least 2 out of 3, which is at least a 66% win rate, just based off the 3 games I'm playing, which is definitely higher than a lot of decks in Ultimate Champion, at least, according to Royal LPI. And then this deck I was playing earlier actually won me quite a bit of games. I mean, you can go through here and see. Not here, but I was playing right here. I have a defeat in my last game, but victory, victory, defeat, victory, victory, defeat, victory, defeat, victory, defeat, victory. Okay, these ones, I mean, come on, they aren't that good. But I had like a win streak where, I mean, look at this. 4-game win streak here. Couple defeats, yes, I will admit. But okay. You're not seeing the best of my business here, but ultimately, I did have like an 8-game win streak the other day, and it's a fun deck to use as well. Using Sparky and Mega Knight, it's disgusting and disturbing, but it is quite a piece of cake to use, and very fun as well, especially with the Prince. You have Prince Zap first play, I mean, it's just, it's absolutely tender. But anyway, that's going to be how you make a Mega Knight deck, and you can use a lot of different things, as I said. Boss Bandit instead of the mini P.E.K.K.A, Prince instead of the mini P.E.K.K.A, right? I think those even still would work in accordance with this entire deck as it is. And the minions are going to be a good deck to use if you're not going to use Evo bats, because you don't really just want to use bats. You want to use definitely Evo bats, because they do pack a little bit more of a punch at the end of the day, because they might have to be arrows, and then maybe your opponent doesn't have arrows for your goblin gang now, so it creates a little bit more of a problem than just an easy zap and arrow situation. So definitely, if you're going to use bats, Evo bats. If you're not going to use bats, you're really going to want to use minions. A cheap air defense card like minions is going to be so good. There really isn't that many other air defense cards you want to use, because you could use Dark Goblin, but you really do want that kind of flight action, so that someone can't just maybe log, your Mega Knight and whatever card you have behind it, like a Dark Goblin. So something like Mega Knight Bats, which is used a lot as like high DPS behind the Mega Knight, something like minions is going to work very well. But anyway, that's going to be the deck. Check out DogeShipBarrel.com. It's in the description. Custom made, hand pressed merch. And like, subscribe, and thank you for watching.
Run it up, run it up.